What's up, JP? It's XFL Extreme, and we're here to talk football.
This is the Extreme Mafia now.
Hey,
Woo!
don't mark out. Glad to be here. Excited everybody's here with us. Like we're literally, it's the draft. JP's got it going on right now.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
I was never a huge draft day guy, and for some reason this year I want to watch it all.
Is it just because, is it because of where your team's at? Is it?
Well, so the Patriots never go in with early draft picks. They always trade their early draft picks away. If they draft an offensive player in the first round, they have a late first round pick and then an early second round pick. If they draft an offensive player in the first round, which they need, it'll be the earliest they've ever drafted offensive player.
Yeah.
But I'm also hoping that San Francisco, me and you talked about this, I'm hoping they draft a quarterback.
I'm hoping that the Steelers do everything that they can within their power to win games and do it without idiots hanging out with guns in their cars. Like, I'm tired of the Antonio Browns. I'm tired of the Plexico Burses. I'm tired of all of this. It's been a long time, dude. It's been a long – I can throw Holmes in there. I can throw all – it's just a system, guys. It's just
Antonio Brown can go keep hanging out with Jake Paul at the UFC.
Yeah. Jake Paul can – just like the fans said during the UFC event when him and Tyson were face-to-face, you heard the fans during the fight. You can go back and hear it. You can hear him say F Jake Paul. You can hear him chant that.
Jake Paul is a genius, though.
I know he is. He's making – look at the money he's making. We're talking about him right now.
He figured out that he can call these guys out. He's called out Usman, who just won the UFC title. Yeah. He called out Daniel Cormier.
Cormier would kill him.
Oh, both of those guys would. Depends on the match.
I'd pay.
Is he going to box them or is he going to fight them in an MMA styled match?
I don't give a shit who it is. Cormier in a boxing match will kill Jake Paul. So Cormier would kill Jake Paul in any fight.
Well, so here's the thing. Right after he won his fight against Ben Haskell there, Scranton, whatever.
Yeah.
He put on his Twitter, Jake Paul did, I can beat Nate Diaz in 3 rounds.
Speaking of
Nate Diaz is a great freaking boxer.
Of course he is, but he's booking this. Just like, let's talk about how would you book? Huh?
Diaz kills him before the fight starts, though. Like Diaz
with a loaded gun he got from a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Nate Diaz is an animal. Him and his brother, and their stand-up game is on point. You're not beating them. I'm sorry.
Can we take a minute here, and we're gonna play the interview halfway through here, right? So you guys get us for half an hour, and then you guys are gonna get to listen to the interview that we did earlier with a global draft pick, CFL. Middle linebacker for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Les Maruo.
Maruo.
So
I know what the CFL is. I know what the XFL is. And I purposely didn't look into this because I want you to explain it. What is the global merger?
Okay, so when we're talking about football and they say global merger, you have football in Japan, you have football in Denmark, you still have European football, you still have football that is going on across the world. As Americans, right? As us in the States, when we look at football, we look at the only thing that we compare to, the only lens that we have is the NFL. Or some of us have the CFL too, like up here in Montana. I've had some experiences with it just because of a lot of Montana kids go up there and play. Dave Dickinson is a U of M alum that played in the CFL and is a coach of the Stampeders. So I've had some experience with it. When they talk about the global merger, really what they're talking about is a global league to an extent, but there's still going to be it's a feeder program, right? You still have a feeder program. It's like soccer.
Okay.
The concept is just like soccer, and that's kind of why I want to talk about how you and I would. We're not gonna merge. How would you book an XFL CFL merger? This isn't a this. If I'm going to do it,
like, so I would split the teams in half, okay, and divide them up by region, not just North and South, but like just like the NFL has the AFC and the NFC.
You already have that. You have the XFL and CFL.
Right. That's how I would book the merger. I'm not going to have the teams play. Well, once in a while they would play each other. There would be interleague games.
And but, would you treat it like an AFL NFL merger where you're going to take 4 years to do this? You're going to
no, it shouldn't take that long.
But you got COVID, and the only reason I'm asking is because I'm trying to bring everything to the table. Like Canada is locked down hard. Like you can't get in there, you can't get out. A lot of these maybe the draft picks do get in, maybe they can't. August, they're looking for a CFL start. XFL, nobody's really saying anything. So a lot of times on the Discord through XFL Newsroom, everybody's talking about how there's stuff going on. But the biggest thing is when there's no talk, there's plans happening. Nobody's talking because there's plans. Everybody's busy putting plans together right now. And I really feel like everybody's anxious. They want it to happen. They probably want it to happen too quick. We talked about this, like even booking an AL-NL thing. Like if you're going to do interleague play, each play your individual seasons, right? But book a couple, of those games where you're having an XFL team travel to see it to a Canadian team, and they have to adjust to those rules, right? You got to play on a bigger field. You got to play with a bigger end zone. You got to add an extra man. You're talking designated hitter as opposed to a non-designated hitter. The CFL teams come down and play in the XFL. Guess what? You're taking that guy off. You're not running into motion. Maybe they do have motion, right? You're going to the kickoff stationary. There's a lot of things that can happen. There's really a lot of things that it can happen with the XFL. They could even go the route with the NFL and comparing it to soccer again. Can you imagine if you had 3 of the shittiest teams in the NFL? Like you're just shitty. It's no comparison. You're just a Cleveland Brown. Just how it happens. It's just you're just that team. Oh, you're a butt fumble team. It's who you are. Those bottom 3, right, go down to the XFL. They're relegated, just like any soccer team would be relegated. They're relegated to the XFL, and the top 3 teams in the XFL move up into the NFL. So you get those teams and those markets a chance to make that NFL money. You get those.
But do you make them all run by the same rules? Because doesn't the Canadian football rules don't they have a bigger end zone?
Yes, they have a bigger end zone. There's a center line plus a 50. So there's a center line, then each of them have a 50, right? So it's an extra 15 yards, I think, longer. Plus you have end zones that are deeper and longer. The goalposts are on the goal line, not back behind the end zone. There's a lot of things, man. There's a lot. In all honesty, it really should be a new league. There's no merger that needs to happen. It's a matter of establishing a new league. And my feelings and what I've read and what I've seen is that CFL fans hate XFL fans. Like they hate us, just like those dudes like that hated us, like for no reason, right? We're just coming out. We're trying to do a good thing. We're interviewing some nice people, and they come at us. To me, it's the same way. You have to be willing to upset the apple cart in Canada and know that you're going to make the XFL money. Does that right? I mean, The Rock has how many followers himself? You look at the CFL's social media. That's how everybody compares things now. How many followers you have? What's your influence? That's the market now. It's post-COVID, and everybody that continues to leave this in a pre-COVID status of things of the status quo, and we're just waiting to get back to that. Not going to happen.
We saw that firsthand on the wrestling side of things with the Irish Whip podcast when dealing with Impact Pro Wrestling or Impact Wrestling, whatever. I guess they're not professional. They don't have the word pro in there.
No.
But they when I had a call with Ross Foreman about trying to get an interview, and he said, basically, don't call me, I'll call you. And we left it at that. But he had all of our numbers. He knew how many Twitter followers we had. He didn't know how many downloads we had. I provided him with that information, much to his dismay. He tried to cut me off, but I got it out. But he knew how many YouTube followers we had and Twitter and all of that. So, like, if you think those guys aren't paying attention, they are. And when you're doing a podcast, no matter what size you are, the guys above you know. Like, we're not a huge podcast. We're moderate. And we pay attention to the guys above and below us.
Absolutely. We're successful because we stay on our groove. We're not worried about what other people are doing. We're not worried about some guys that are giving away a T-shirt for the Seattle Dragons that have mark out in their bio, and then they threaten with a cease and desist order and get stupid. I mean, for me, it was a fun hour wasting the time. It was able to root out the rats real quickly.
Yeah, we saw people's true colors in this space, which we're not that type. We want to expand everybody because we understand that if every podcast does well, we're going to do well.
Yes.
If every podcast is against each other and fights, and we've seen this firsthand, then it's not going to do anybody any good.
No.
The positive attitude, and like, this isn't fake with us. This is us. Like, if you mess with us, you're going to get the shit end of the deal.
Absolutely.
But if you're cool and you're respectful and, you're a decent human being, we're going to do what we can to elevate you. Whether I like you, I may not like you as a person, but I think you have a good product and I think you're a decent human being. Just for whatever reason we don't get along, I'm going to promote you.
Right. And the same thing with XFL Newsroom. If we're doing something and they understand we're edgy, we're out there, we're going to say things. When we interview people, we're going to ask the questions. That's what we do. That's what we're known for. And we'll continue to do that. The problem is that we came into an arena in 2019, we just left it dormant until it was time for us. We perfected a craft. We worked on our craft. We got to a point where we felt comfortable. We were ready to tackle another beast in something that we're passionate about, which is football, and something I'm passionate about, which is alternative football. The option to have an actual alternative league or a supplemental league to the NFL where teams could be relegated to a league that's lower than they are. Like, can you imagine how much you don't just get away to throw away the last 3 games of the season, JP? If you get relegated, man, you're going to, I don't know, Missoula, Montana. You're going to, I don't know,
about
shittiest
20
towns
years
in the world.
ago.
You're going to end up in Memphis or, I don't know, name some Aberdeen, South Dakota. Is that bad? I don't know.
I had the opportunity about 15 years ago or so. I was still late in my life to be doing something like this, so I did not take the opportunity. But there was I don't know what you would call a semi-pro football team that was trying to launch. And I used to see the guy who ran the team at the bus stop all the time. And I'm a big dude. And he knew by what bus I was waiting for where I was from. And the team that he was trying to start up was the Southie Chippewas. And in my father's day and time, when my father was a kid growing up, to play on the Chippewas was a huge deal.
Yes.
Like, there were guys that came off of the Southie Chippewas, South Boston Chippewas, and made it to the NFL. It was a big deal. It wasn't a semi-pro team back then. It was just like a park league team. But they were good. They were really good. And this guy was trying to restart that. It turned out he wasn't from Southie. I had told him no anyway. I was like, dude, I was in my 30s. When I was a kid growing up, South Boston did not have organized football. So I had never played organized football.
Ever?
Never. I've played, we used to put teams together and play, we'd go down the beach and play tackle, or we'd play, tag rush in the middle of the street, but I had never played on an official team with like a uniform and coach, that type of thing for football.
Have you, Ryan Mallett, were you a fan at all?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason I bring that up is because the spring league is about to start up. I don't know if you know really what that consists of, but it's just another alternative league. Like he's going to be down there. He's playing for the Sea Lions, I believe. He's a quarterback for the Sea Lions. Dungy is down there. So there's
really.
Oh yeah, it's.
Well, they all pay attention to that stuff. Same thing with like baseball and any sport. They all pay attention to that stuff.
It's I think we've realized how quickly, one, we can upset an apple cart, and two, like we're just here to talk, football, man. That's really it, and do some really cool interviews, and hopefully, I know I've listened and watched some of these guys talk about the CFL, and they're impatient and they want it to happen. Like the Discord on the XFL press room, like you were in there for a while. It blows up daily about people wanting or demanding things. And I just keep coming back to the social media draw. It's if you're The Rock and you have 15 million followers and you post something about some random energy drink that you like how many followers do you think that energy drink picks up in a day? What do you think that social marketing or that return on investment for him to post or tweet that? And that's the type of marketing, I think, in the intellectual outreach that whatever they're planning or working on right now is going to be some next level shit that when they go back and look at it, they're like, why didn't we think about that? Why didn't we think of that?
There's a kid on YouTube. He was a streamer. He was a gamer called FaZe Rug. And he's just a YouTuber now. Not just a YouTuber. He has he's working towards 20 million followers on YouTube. But one of the energy drinks that's sold at 7-Eleven is Chug Rug. And that's named after him. Like, his face is literally on the can.
Yes.
He's not a celebrity.
No.
And that's made by G Fuel, which is like one of the bigger energy drinks. Like, that's where this world is at today. Like, these people come in and they make these TikToks. And like, if you're a media person or you're an athlete, you're anything, you have to have a TikTok, you have to have a YouTube, you have to have a Facebook. Not even so much Facebook anymore, Instagram and Twitter though, because there's as much money there as there is in playing your sports. And it's if you don't take your name, someone else is going to steal it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, really, the thing is posted yesterday, and this is from the XFL. Is that this is I guess you'd call it a statement. It's a graphic. I could put it up, but I'm just going to read it. It says the XFL 2022 season is on hold pending the outcome of our conversation with the CFL. So that was as of yesterday.
Hashtag breaking news.
Well, I continue to go to the simple fact that when there's no news and nobody's talking about it, and if you search for it and you go to the news sites like XFL Newsroom or you go to any other news site, there's nothing being talked about. CFL is really just, they have the August start date. When I talked to Les the other day, he's getting ready to head up there. And it's really just a matter of this coronavirus. And I think the goal in Canada is 70% of the adults have to be vaccinated before they will open things up. So they're literally getting to once that number is it was able to be reached, then they start to open things up. So they're making people get vaccinated. They've also talked about, I saw that Trudeau talked about vaccination passports for some of these areas, and that's really because the coronavirus, they're starting to spike again. I don't watch the news. I just read what I see in that XFL Discord, which it's pretty cool because there's a lot of news that are related to the coronavirus, even in Japan and around Canada and where it's at. And they have projections as far as when they're going to be able to open up based on how many adults can get vaccinated by a certain time, and then they're going to open up a certain percent. Unlike us, who just
but like Canada is not vaccinated at all right now.
No, and it's difficult. I see Lufisto on Instagram, which is a pro wrestler, daily, and she's playing guitar, doing her thing. she's another one that put in her time and did her thing. This is going to be the time where she could get that last final run, and it's just not happening because borders are closed or
right.
And it really depends. I think everything hinges on the coronavirus right now. There may not even be an XFL 2022 season, and if it does start, it may start at the end of the year, or they have a draft. I mean, CFL draft is going to follow the NFL draft tonight. Have they drafted as the first pick already gone? Is it Jacksonville, Urban Meyer? And
3 minutes, 4 minutes, 3:52.
So cool. That's awesome. So we'll have time. We're going to play the less Maruo Biddy.
His name. I was going to say that we've had his name spelled like 2 different ways in different places. There's some that we didn't have control of.
Maruo. Maruo. Les Maruo. Total Japanese. It's an amazing story. I mean, This kid lost his father at a young age. Made a trip over here to the States from Japan, didn't know a lick of English. Perfectionist. If he said a word wrong when he was a kid that he got made fun of and bullied, he'd go home and practice until he got the pronunciation right. So this is the kind of kid you're talking about when you're talking about a global draft. You're looking at kickers, right? You're really looking at kickers because you're getting the Australian rules kickers and stuff like that. And what keyed us into this is who takes a linebacker in a global draft pick when you can grab kickers, right? The Winnipeg Blue Bombers did it, and I can kind of see why, because he sounds like a pretty special kid.
Yeah, I thought you did a great job with that, and the interview was good. He had, like you said, there was a great story. Him talking about getting into football and all of that, and just how he came in with the team. Who did he get drafted by?
The Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
The Blue Bombers, sorry. And how he got drafted in the same spot as his coach who played the same position.
Yes. And he talked about the call, like the draft call, and he talked about, his friends wanting him to come over and how he had spent a lot of his time being alone. He talked a lot about not having that father figure, how a lot of the accomplishments he's had in his life has been things that he's done on his own. So he took the time to be on his own, and he didn't even know it was the head coach that called when he called. He was just in the moment, caught up in the moment, and he was a little bit nervous. I could tell when we started, and I can, we do the best that we can to put.
He loosened up though.
Yeah, to put everybody at ease, and it's just because we're not a media outlet. We're not here to do a media interview.
No,
we're not here to. I'm not going to ask you about stats and can you throw against this guy and can you beat that guy. You've already answered those questions. Those questions have already been asked. I want to know how shitty was it at 9-year-olds when you lost your dad? How shitty was that? I'm going to ask those questions because that's going to tell me what kind of character this kid has. Does he really have that? Does he have the drive? He talks about being an Asian American and size and showing up in football and shouldn't you be doing math or, Asians don't play football. So it's it was a fun interview, and it's, I think it's really enlightening when we start talking about a global football league. And if it really happens where we could get 2 leagues that could be successful in the NFL that could work together and have some type of relegation where if you're the bottom 3 teams, you're going to go play in this league, and you're not going to get the type of money that you would get in a championship league. That's just how it works. So I don't know. There's so many options. There's a lot of things I think everybody is talking about on the table between CFL and XFL. The purists of the CFL don't want to see it to happen, but I think the capitalists of both really want to see it happen.
Now the draft pick is in. The first draft pick, Jacksonville Jaguars, the pick is in.
It's got to be Lawrence, right?
I believe it's going to be.
With the first pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, had to.
Breaking news, guys. You heard it here first.
Urban Meyer there, man. That's pretty impressive. I haven't reached out to my buddy Jason that was actually an NFL scout for the Jaguars since all this went down. I was going to kind of wait until after the draft because this is his big day. This is his day where he's done everything he's needed to do, and I'm sure it's been extra challenging, so he may be one that we have on the show here to talk about what that was like to be an NFL scout during this time of year and during the COVID years. Where there was very little play and a lot of probably tape to watch, but I don't even know if he's still employed for Jacksonville. We're going to probably find that out too.
This kid's got 3 perfectly placed Gatorade bottles on his living room table.
Are they perfectly spaced?
Perfect. No, they're all right next to each other. 3 different, the red, white, and blue, I think it was for the flavors, but like perfectly aimed so you see the label.
How much, before we get into this interview with Les, how much success of the National Football League can you place on the shoulders of advertisers?
Oh, all of it.
Not just the networks, but advertisers as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, the networks run the schedules.
Yes.
And that tells you that that's how much. It's completely run by the advertisers.
Do you feel like there's money on the table for alternative football?
Oh, yeah.
I do too.
Because America loves football. And, I don't know what the Rock's plan for the XFL is or what the XFL CFL merger plan is. Vince McMahon's plan was perfect for the timing.
Yes. It was perfect.
He wanted to start it in February when there's no football. Football's over. You just had your Super Bowl. But guess what's still on everybody's mind at that point?
Mm-hmm.
Football.
That's a perfect time. It's a spring league. It is a spring league.
So, yeah, I think that's the time to do it. I don't think you compete with the NFL. I don't think you want to compete with the colleges. So you don't want to go during the regular season on Saturday or Sunday.
No, because you're taking money off the table and you're taking money out of people's mouths that way. There's more competition at that time of year.
Right. I think you do it in the spring. I think you're perfect. I think you'll make a lot of money. If it's done right. If you don't stop the clock to let a team score a touchdown because the fix is in.
So first pick is in. I think we've covered what we needed to cover for the first 30 minutes here.
I got one more thing to say here.
Yeah.
And that is, today's podcast is presented by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast. Providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space, so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from Podgo. Apply today to become a member and immediately be connected with advertisers that fit your audience. That's podgo.co at podgo.co. And be sure to add our podcast. Please add the Irish Whip, as that's still our account there. That may be changing over the time. But add the Irish Whip in the How Did You Hear About Podgo section of your application.
God, I love it when you read those Podgo ads.
It gets better. I get better at it every time, don't I?
Yeah. I figured you'd have it memorized by now.
No, because I can switch it up. We can do different ads. Like we could have done, let me see. We could have done Brush, the electronic toothbrush there.
Any of the food delivery services there?
No.
Panties?
Sleep.
Any female garments?
In store.
From right to you?
In store. There's Fulton's got 2 versions. That's Podgo. For your arch support. So that doesn't, I think Podgo is the one that kind of fits our demographic the best. I think podcasters listen to us. Yeah,
Podgo's the only one that listens to us right now. That works for us right now.
So,
all right, guys, enjoy. Man, this has been a good time. I've been tongue-tied a couple times because I'm excited about the draft. I'm excited about football. I'm excited that we're doing this. And it's cool. At XFL Extreme, here's the interview with Mr. Les Maruo. They're piling it in now. Man, for the W, it's a Yeti. What's up, guys? I am sitting here with a young man that was born in Japan, did not speak a lick of English until he moved to the States, had one junior college offer out of high school, a Division I full-ride scholarship to UTSA. He's got a BS in kinesiology, an MS in business, and now a global first-round draft pick for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, man. Les, how are you today?
I'm doing great, sir. Thanks for having me on here.
Man, I'm super excited when we get a chance to have, like I said, you're a homer, man. You're one of those young men that we were like really excited to grab a hold of when the draft happened. I made fun of it because there's a lot of punters that go, but that's obvious. It's a global draft pick. Everybody else plays soccer in the world besides us in the States that play football. So I made fun of it. But it was really different to see a linebacker go that. How did you like talk about the call? Like when you got that, were you expecting the call? Did you think the call was going to happen? Where were you at with it, man?
So the thing with the global combine, it was supposed to happen in 2020, but with Corona, it got canceled and I had to wait all the way until, March of 2021. So, it's been a long process. I've been waiting for like 2 years, and I've talked to almost every single team. But with Winnipeg, I've had multiple Zoom sessions, and I talked to their head coach, their GM, all their coaches, assistant coaches, and I just felt really close with them. I just felt like they believe in me. I felt like, I just felt that like a family-oriented connection with them. So I was actually telling my friends, like, I really think I'm going to go fourth pick, like first round, fourth pick to the Winnipeg. And then next thing you know, it happened. Whenever I saw that on the screen, on the CFL's tracker, we had it on the TV. I just started yelling and I just started like going crazy. And then whenever I calmed down, I got a call from the head coach, Mike O'Shea, and then I didn't even know it was him at the time because I was so excited. I was kind of like, thank you. And then I didn't even know that was the head coach. But after I got off the phone, I just started screaming, let's go. I think CFL posted me on their Instagram if you want to see that. So I was very excited. And then, a couple hours later, I found out that, it was the head coach. And he actually played linebacker. He was a CFL Hall of Fame linebacker. And whenever I looked up his stats and everything, he's a great player. And then the crazy thing is he was picked first round, fourth pick in the CFL draft. So, like, it's kind of – we have a lot of similarities being a linebacker and being picked, first round, fourth pick. So it was a real surreal moment, and I'll really cherish that moment for the rest of my life.
Cool. And you bring up that coaches are one of those things as athletes. I was an athlete a long, long time ago. I'm an old man now, so my career is long and gone. So I get to live vicariously through men of character like yourself. So it's really cool when we get to hear those stories, and we appreciate that. Like you're chasing your dream, like you're chasing your football dream. This is something that do you feel like you're able? Are you manifesting this, man? I mean, I know you posted on Twitter like, "Hey, I said this a year ago, and here I am." Like, are you making this happen?
Yeah, it's crazy because, like you said, exactly 2 years ago from today, April 27th, 2019, I said it was right after the NFL draft. I didn't get a call. I didn't get any, shot or anything like that. And I said, what I said,
I don't even remember. I just remember reading it today. I don't remember what it was, but
I remember what I said, but I was like, I said, don't worry, I'll find another way. That's what I said. Don't worry, I'll find another way. And then next thing you know, 2 years later, almost, actually yesterday, but almost 2 years later, exactly 2 years, I signed with the Winnipeg, so it's been a long process. And, I just trusted in God's plan. I always had faith, and I just kept believing. Like, you know, I always felt like I belong in the CFL, NFL. I always thought that, you know, I had the talent and athleticism and work ethic to get there. So, you know, it was a surreal moment, but I still got a lot of work to do when I get to the CFL. I want to prove myself and prove other people wrong that I belong on the field.
So when you, I ask this question when an individual or an athlete says, "I'm here to prove somebody wrong." I don't know if you can name names. I don't know if you can name people. I don't know if you're speaking in general, but a lot of times, is that directed towards? And these are what we talk about, man. We're not the regular guys when we interview. Like, I'm gonna be respectful to the CFL. I'm gonna be respectful to XFL. I'm gonna be respectful to everything.
Yeah.
But I want to know, like, what makes you're talking about resilience, and you're talking about I'm gonna rise to the top, and I'm gonna show you. Like, I'm gonna be defiant, and I'm gonna show you. Are there people in your life, like right now, you're gonna say, "Look at me, watch me go"?
Yeah, it's just that, like, you know, I was, you know, being an Asian football player, you know, growing up. I started playing football in middle school, but like being an Asian football player, you just kind of get that look, like, you know, I've never seen a Japanese football player before. Like, can he actually play? Isn't he supposed to be good at school? Like, aren't Asians like are Asians athletic? Like, you get those kind of questions, you get those doubts right off the bat, from the coaches, from the players. So I always had to prove myself. I always had to prove myself that, you know, I can play. I belong on the field. You know, but it takes time because, you know, it's human nature. People doubt you and stuff like that. So, you know, right now, you know, I made it to the CFL, but I still have to make the roster. I still have to, you know, I want to play on the special team. I want to get in the rotation linebacker. I want to eventually start as a linebacker. I have those goals in my mind, and then, you know, when you get to the higher level, a lot of people start, you know, like kind of hating on you a little bit.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know,
They're grabbing your coattails,
people,
man. They're grabbing your coattails because they want to hold you down. They want to keep you down, and they want to be better. And that's one of those things I think I've seen in you, is that you're willing to separate yourself, no matter what that means, to get to that place where you want to be. And I feel like you're in that place. And you know, the biggest thing when I did the intro and I left it out is, and you lost your father at a really, like, a young age. Is that, and that's kind of the purpose of the question was, is this one of those things like, Dad, I'm here, like, watch me go?
Yeah. So I lost my father when I was 3 years old, and it was hard growing up without a father because I didn't have that leadership, that man guidance of telling you what to do. I just kind of, you know, did my own thing, like play sports just because I wanted to play sports. And then I just realized that with sports, I can get a full-ride scholarship, especially with football, because football, you know, you got a lot of money. So I knew that I could help my single mom out that's raising 2 kids on her own. So, you know, if I get a full-ride scholarship, she don't have to worry about paying for college, you know. So I wanted to, you know, kind of get out and do something different with my life. So with football, you know, I got those many opportunities that led me to, you know, getting my master's degree, you know, going back to Japan and playing as a professional for 2 years. Now I'm going to the CFL and representing my country. It's just, you know, it's a crazy story. Like, you can't write it any better than that. It just sounds like a movie, really. But I'm just truly blessed, and I'm just very blessed.
How difficult was it? I mean, you moved to the States that's a pivotal time at a kid's age. You're you know, getting ready to go in the double digits, 10, 11, 12. You don't know a lick of English. Plus you're moving into Midwest America. How tough was that for you as a kid to adjust and come here? Plus you're battling the stereotypes of you can't play sports. You're supposed to be this. I'm not saying this. I'm just, you know, stereotypes in general when it comes out is, you know, you're supposed to be smart at math. You know, I get good grades. I'm not athletically talented unless I'm playing ping pong. Like the stupid shit, excuse my French, the stupid things that people would say when it comes to that. So, like, battling those stereotypes and where you're at right now on the drive and losing your father, has there ever been a time where you haven't won?
I mean, it's just that those adversity made me who I am today. If I didn't have those battles, if I didn't have those kind of stereotype, that kind of made me mad and put a fire like in my like heart or my body, like I wouldn't be the player I am. I wouldn't be the person I am today. So without those things, like losing a father at a young age, I don't know if I would have got my master's degree. I don't know if I would have been the starting linebacker as a Japanese player at a D1 level. I don't know if I would have, got drafted first round to the Winnipeg. So it's like those things made me who I am and made me stronger. So, growing up, sometimes like learning English was, it could be difficult. And sometimes I say the wrong things like growing up, and then, people will laugh at it like you said that word wrong or something like that. And then I really didn't like that because I like to, always be right. So I'll go home and really practice. I would say the word over and over and over until I can get it right. I would just listen to it on like YouTube or something, and I'll just keep listening to it until I can get the pronunciation right. So, it just came with hard work, and then those little adversities and big adversities really made me into a warrior that I am today. What's
your approach on a daily basis? I mean, do you have, and the reason I ask this is because you're bringing up the important things in life, a male role model, a father, somebody in your life to show you the ways, that to be a man of God, to be a man in the world, just to be that person. Do you feel like you continue to do that on a daily basis? Like, what's your wake up and routine? You're obviously a driven young man. You want to succeed. You're a perfectionist at heart. You've got drive. So what time are you like a Marky Mark? Are you waking up at 4:30 and you're doing your workout and you're hanging out for 15 hours? Or like, what's your typical day as far as getting ready? You're doing what you're doing, getting ready for the CFL.
Yeah. So, I'm not really the type of person to wake up like at 4 a.m. or anything like that. I graduated with a kinesiology athletic medicine major, so I kind of learned a lot of things about the body, recovery, and stuff like that. So you kind of need sleep. As athletes, for how hard you train, you need a lot of sleep. Like they say that Olympic athletes need about 10 hours of sleep. So, I don't know, like, if you wake up at 4, you got to be going to sleep at like 8. So me, I can't really do that with my schedule. So I wake up around 7, 8, and then I usually go lift weights for like an hour and a half. Then I come back, I usually eat like chicken, rice, vegetables, and stuff like that. I eat pretty healthy. And then after I eat, and after my food digests, I go to the field and then do field work for, hour and a half, 2 hours. And then I come home and I, usually stretch, just chill out. And I usually just try to watch some type of football, like YouTube, CFL game, or my old film, or anything like that, just to keep my mind in football, because football isn't all physical. It's a lot of mind game too. So, I do that, and I just do that really every day. And then I try to work out almost every day.
Do you enjoy being or having that control on the field? Do you enjoy being able to look at a quarterback and figuring out, I know where this is going, I know what's happening, I know what's going to happen, and we're going to smash it? Do you enjoy that chess piece in football?
Yeah, that's like the best part about football, is that when you see a formation or personnel and then you just see the old lineman's hands, like sometimes it's light, sometimes they're heavy on their hands. So you kind of notice those little things, and you're like, okay, this guard is about to pull. I can just see it by his body, and I seen that on film. He's about to pull. They're about to run a power. I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna, trust my gut and just go. And then if you get right, boom, you're gonna make those tackle for loss, and people are gonna look at you like, whoa, like, how'd you get there so fast? But it comes with film study. It comes with time. Like Luke Kuechly, he was a linebacker for the Panthers, and he was the best at it. He watched film more than anybody. He wasn't the most athletic. He wasn't the most fastest linebacker, but he was probably the smartest linebacker. And he would make those plays, and he would get those interceptions before the offense can even like adjust to a different formation. So so I look up to like players like him, and then I try to mimic what they do. And it's probably the best feeling when you get it right. Like when you make that tackle for loss and you're like, I knew it. it's almost like you're acing the test. Like you walk into a test and you know that you're just gonna ace it. You walk in and you're like, everybody's all stressed out, but you just walk in like I'm ready to take this. I'm gonna ace it. I know it. So it's kind of like that confident boost, and then it gives you that extra, push to play better.
So your approach is true professional. I mean, that's your job. Your job is to be professional. Your job is to study, know, understand, find a person's tell. Do they call an audible in this formation? Is it the same audible every time?
Yeah.
Like that tape study and the degrees, I think for me, a lot of times when we take the chance to get to know somebody like yourself is really key for us, because that tells a lot of not just what you're studying, right, but the degrees that you have with it and the life story. Like the Japanese football, how much I was over there in Okinawa, like we had talked about before through messages. I was over there for about 7 months and spent some time on the mainland, and I loved the baseball over there. Like I absolutely loved the baseball over there. Plus they're mad about golf. The golf driving ranges are there's interstates that go around like driving places for golf.
And the thing about the driving, sorry to cut you off, but
no,
the golf place is that, at Top Golf, have you been to Top Golf before?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the balls will automatically come out, but you have to pick the ball up and put it on the, what's it called? The
tee.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to always bend over, get the ball, and put it on the tee. But most of the places in Japan, they will automatically just put it, like they have a machine that gets the ball and put it on the tee every single time. So after you hit it, boom, you don't have to bend over. You just wait for the ball to just get on the tee, boom, you hit it. So it's like their technology over there is just, kind of futuristic, just ahead of time.
It was hard when I came back to explain the difference in how automated they're willing to be as opposed to us in the States that are like, absolutely not. I want nothing to do with that. And the enhancements over there are really fun. Was what I enjoyed the most. Did you experience American football over there while you were a kid, or was your experience only when you moved back over here?
Yeah, so I didn't even know anything about Japanese football, but whenever I researched it, like whenever I was like about to go to Japan, I noticed that they've had football like before I was even born, but I didn't even know they had American football because where I grew up I grew up in Shizuoka, Japan, and they don't have football. Like soccer is really their main sport. It's like soccer then baseball. So, it's only really popular in Tokyo and Osaka. Like those are like the two biggest cities in Japan. So those are like really the only two cities that really play American football over there. But if you go to those cities, like when you talk about American football, a lot of people will actually know and actually understand the rule and everything. So football's, getting bigger and bigger. And I actually didn't know anything about it. I didn't even know they had college football over there either. So I had no idea. So the thing was, like, I did my pro day in 2019 at UTSA. And then after the draft, I was kind of devastated. And I kind of just gave up on football for about 2 months. I started working, and, I just didn't want to do anything with football. I was so devastated that I didn't even want to watch it. Every time I see it on TV, I'll change it or turn it off.
Right.
And if I see it on like Instagram or something, I just like scroll it or just unfollow it because I didn't want to deal with anything about football. And I started working for about 2 to 3 months, and I missed it. Like I missed the excitement. I missed hitting people. I missed all that, everything to do with football, like that family, team sport. And after that, I started doing my research, and that's when I found out about the X League.
You get paid to be violent. That's really what it is. You get paid to go out there and try to hurt people. And I appreciate that more than anything because I that's the part. As you grow old and you get old like me, I'm an old man. That part of life and that zest to be able to run full speed and hit your buddy as hard as you possibly can and maybe see snot, blood, teeth, saliva fly and get up and laugh is absolutely one of those things that football does. And it also creates some amazing rivalries between people. And the storied history of the CFL I'm a Montana kid, so JP's not here. He's Boston. They don't have the CFL is kind of foreign to a lot of people in the States. I'm fortunate because up here in the North, like I'm used to the 3 downs, the center line, like the extra space in the end zone that we would call it.
Yeah.
But how do you prepare? Do you prepare for that? I mean, is it a different game? Like when you're talking about studying tape and going there, we're talking CFL, which is a much larger field in a lot of ways.
Yeah. So, ever since I heard about the CFL, it was, when I had that tryout in Osaka on February 2020. Ever since then, I was so interested about CFL. I wanted to play. That was my goal. That was my dream. So ever since then, like I started watching the Grey Cup on YouTube. I watched a lot of the games on YouTube that I could find. And then I just kind of started picking up a lot of the rule changes. And then I started like researching what's the rule change. Like it's 3 downs instead of 4. The field's bigger. It's 12 players instead of 11. And then you have to be 1 yard behind the line of scrimmage. All those little things. And I just really studied it. And then I noticed that it's a lot more passing there than it is running, just because the game is faster. So yeah, I really like that part because like having 3 downs, it makes the game really, really fast paced. So I think the fans enjoy it more. Like in NFL, they have way too many commercial breaks, and then the time between plays are too long. So, CFL cut it short, and then it's really like exciting, and it's really the offense really got that advantage. So, like you see a lot of great plays, a lot of great passes and stuff like that. So I really like the CFL. I really like the way Canadians play football.
It's an offensive oriented league.
Yeah.
I will absolutely be open and honest about that every time, because when you're sending men in motion prior to the ball being snapped, the defense is automatically at a disadvantage. Mm-hmm. So when I talk about defense in CFL, I won't say that it's one of those things that people disregard, but I know that you have to have a different athlete when you're playing a different game, because the NFL game, size and speed does matter. Yeah, they're out there and they're quick, but they're playing on a smaller field. Mm-hmm. When you're talking about a bigger field in CFL, even though you throw an extra man in there, speed always beats space, man. Speed will always beat space. I feel like, I think that's where, even though you talk about being undersized, even though you talk about all of that, it's those smarts and those studying, I feel like, is where I feel like, you succeed, is where you will succeed. And where, even on special teams, even if that's, man, there's so many guys from Montana, even Dave Dickinson that coaches the Stampeders, man. He was I watched him play. I loved him play at the University of Montana. I watched him through the Stampeders. I watched Ayat. I watched a lot of guys go from Montana up to the CFL. And it's a door. It's exactly a doorway for individuals that didn't get full rides.
Yeah.
Came from a different country. These stories are out there, man, and I'm excited to be able to follow yours through this Winnipeg journey. Have you ever got a call from the NFL? Have you ever got a call from the XFL? That's Bobby D. He's one of our big time fans. He's asking if you've ever got a call from those guys, or if CFL is just where we're at right now.
Yeah, so no, I never got a shot from the NFL. I never got a shot from the CFL. But like, I played with a linebacker. His name was Josiah Tauefa, and then he actually ended up going to the NFL for the Giants. And then when we both did the pro day together, I felt like, my numbers were better, but, he just had that hype, he just had that, like he was the face of UTSA. And I just felt like, I'm not saying I was better than him. I'm just saying if he could do it, I felt like I belonged there too. So that actually motivated me, like seeing him, succeed in the NFL. I just wanted to be like, I want to be right there with him. So, I know that I can hang with him. I know that if he can play special teams, I know I can play special teams too. So, and then I play my linebacker at junior college. His name is Kyle Wilson. He ended up going to the Eagles. Then he went to the Chargers. Now he's going to play for Hamilton Tiger Cats. So it's kind of cool. I used to play Mike. He used to play Will. So seeing him go to the NFL too, I'm like, man, I used to play with that guy right next to him, So it's like, if he can do it, I can do it too. So now I get to actually play against him, which is very, very cool. And then, and then they got another player named Raheem Bigham. and then he played DN for Hamilton Tiger Cats, and I played with him at junior college. So it's cool. It's exciting. And I got a couple of players at UTSA that play in the CFL too. So I will get to see a lot of the players that I used to play with on the field, on the other teams. But, yeah, maybe we can do some jersey swap or something, take pictures, and it'll be something that we'll remember the rest of our life.
Who was the I got a couple more questions, man. I don't want to take up whole much of your time today because I know you're super busy.
I got time.
When you got that call, the draft happened, like an hour later, you're still in the house. Like, did you take time alone? Did you go, like, sit down and go, holy, it's happening. Like, it's real. Like, this is real right now.
Yeah. So, like, the thing was, like, I was actually, I grew up in Kansas, so a lot of my Kansas friends wanted me to go back to Kansas and have this, like, party thing, like a draft party with friends, but, like, I was really about to go, and at the last second, I was kind of like, I kind of want to be, like,
it's big news. It's big news.
I kind of just want to be, like, by myself, really, because, like, that's really all, like, I grinded by myself. I believed in myself by myself, like, so I it was really me and God. So it's just, I wanted to be alone. I just wanted to be, like, have my own space and just really take in that moment. So it was just me and my friend. He played football at UTSA. I was just at his house and we were both watching it. And then I was just kind of like, right after I saw it on the little tracker thing, I saw my name. As soon as that happened, I really just started praying. I just started to like put my head down and close my eyes and really took in that moment. And then and after that, I got the call, and that's when I started screaming. So I was like, I just let it all go. So yeah, it was really exciting. So it's something I remember the rest of my life for sure.
What was it? Did you just sign the contract yesterday? Did you just ink that yesterday, or was it the day before?
So, like, I signed it about a couple of days ago, but then they officially made it, like, official yesterday.
Right.
They made it official yesterday.
When was it hard signing that? Was it like, or was it like a no-brainer? Like, this is my opportunity. I'm not going to wait for anything else. Like, I'm jumping at this. I'm doing this.
Yeah, like, a lot of people, might say that, like, global players would kind of get, like, minimum salaries, so we don't get paid that much.
Right.
And then we don't really get paid until the first game, so it's like some people might, like, complain about it, but with me, it was a no-brainer. I was like, I'm not playing for money. I'm not playing for fame. I'm playing because I want to play with, like, the best of the best. I want to play with better, competition. So, like, I just signed the paper, and I was just really excited. I'm just waiting for, this Corona thing to be over with so I can just go to Winnipeg and start my training camp.
Absolutely. So everybody that's out there, can you just give your socials? So if anybody wants to follow you, Les, can you shoot out your socials to them so they can follow you and keep track of you on your journey? Yeah.
So my Twitter and my Instagram is the same. It's really Les, LES, and my last name, Maruo, MARUO, and 44. So Les Maruo 44. And 44 obviously is a number I wore at UTSA, and it means a lot. I kind of, I got it randomly. Like, they just gave me that number, but I always like kind of like to put it, how the 4 kind of looks like an F?
Absolutely.
So I just put it like forever family or for faith forever. So I just kind of wear that 44, and then even though I didn't pick that number, I feel like it was, it was chosen for me. So, yeah.
So you kind of feel like the number picked you. You didn't pick the number.
Yeah, it just happened. Like, it was just really, cliche as it sounds, just God's plan. Everything happens for a reason. Yeah.
Do you feel that plan? I mean, it's hard for people to when I ask this question. It's why I always love it when I get people that are religious or faith or spiritual like myself. Is it hard for you to turn that over on a daily basis, just to say it's out of my hands? There's nothing I can do about it, and I either move on from it or I make more of a success from it. Is that something that you try to follow?
I just kind of have that gut feeling like if something's not meant for me, then I have like a gut feeling that it's like saying like, no, don't do that. And if it's like with football, like after my pro day at 2019, I could have easily gave up, but something in my body was telling me, give it a try again, like give it a go again, like go to a different country. Like I wasn't really planning on going to Japan first. I was really more looking at like league in like the Germany and like Europe, Brazil, and like Australia, because those are more talked about league. Like nobody really talks about Japan league. So I was just looking at those options, and I was kind of like, man, something's telling me that I need to go back and just give it a try. And then if that doesn't work out, I can always say I tried. I went to a foreign country, or I went to Japan, or wherever. I went to another country, and I went to another league, and I tried. So I didn't want to just give up like that just because you didn't get a call. Don't give up. Like there's plenty of opportunities outside of America, outside of Canada. There's plenty of leagues out there. I know you're not going to get paid that much, but if you truly love the game, you're going to play. And I tweeted this today, but, it's not over until you say it's over. It's almost like it's not over until you give up, basically. So, don't let other people tell you that, your career's over, because their opinion has nothing to do with your dreams and your goals. I could have easily let those opinions get to me and say, oh, man, I didn't make it. But I just kept believing. I kept believing. I always thought that, I belong there. So I just kept my faith and kept believing. And now it's really happening. So I just got to keep going, keep grinding, keep believing, and just go up from that.
Awesome, man. On behalf of XFL Newsroom, XFL Extreme, and all the CFL fans, Winnipeg Blue Bombers linebacker Les Maruo, thank you so much for taking the time today, man. It's been awesome. We look forward to seeing you succeed, and I want you to stick with me. Everybody else, we're out of here. But thanks for watching. Thanks for the comments, and make sure you guys, when the season starts, check out number 44. If you're still going to be wearing 44, we don't know, but we'll see if another number gets gifted to you, man. We appreciate the time.
Appreciate that. Thank you for having me on here.
Ciao, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm just gonna. What I'll do is I'll remove you out of here. Then I'm gonna.